The Kremlin is prepared to allow the United States to rule Venezuela in exchange for Washington's concessions regarding Ukraine. Although the U.S. seizure of Maduro has deprived Putin of an ally and could strengthen U.S. oil influence, Moscow is counting on the potential benefits of dividing the world into spheres of influence initiated by President Trump. They believe that by removing Maduro, the United States has shown Latin America its sphere of influence. The Kremlin took this as a signal that behind the scenes, sphere-for-sphere agreements are possible. Is this really possible? We're not bothering you. You can focus on Venezuela. You're not bothering us. We'll focus on Ukraine. A homeless man approaches a reinforced concrete fence, rings the doorbell, and says, "Hey, what about me not peeing on your door?" And he gets nothing in return. But he feels like he's entered into negotiations, that he's in a powerful position, and that he has a proposal that, well, at the very least, will be heard. That is, Russia, which suddenly decided it wouldn't interfere. It's Russia that interfered with weapons, $12 billion. Military advisors, a general, forgotten somewhere near a chest, or pretending to be a skeleton in the closet. And after that, Russia, which was rattling its weapons there, was a serious geopolitical force that couldn't be brushed aside. And so Maduro slept soundly, knowing that Russia was on his side. Yes, no one even noticed them. And now there's a debate going on. Who were Maduro's personal guards who were shot? Russians or Cubans? Because Cuba is mourning the 32 personal guards of Maduro who died in that unequal battle. They're in Russia. And Aladdin's bass shoes are also silent on the matter, meaning not the Chechens. And Russia suddenly scratches its head and says, "Hey, for Christ's sake, I need to talk." Who's going to talk to you? China, which also felt right at home in Venezuela. Unlike Putin, who allowed $12 billion to be stolen. Because it was the famous Venezuelan Kalashnikov assault rifle factory, which Russia installed turnkey, Venezuela cut the ribbon. And it didn't exist anywhere except on paper. There's no Venezuelan Kalashnikov assault rifle factory. There's only money embezzled by Russian and Venezuelan generals. China, which lost not $12 billion there, but between $80 and $100 billion, according to various estimates, has similarly washed its hands. China, which tried to get there, Iran, too, was doing very well there. Because Iran even manufactured its own cars there during the time of that completely insane Hugo Chavez. There was the Venezuelan auto industry, and it produced Iranian cars from the 19th century, very similar to a Persian carpet. But the only thing was that all sorts of scum had been hanging around those backwaters of South America on those wheels. And all of that was swept away in 30 seconds by Delta Force Special Forces. And now China is washed up. And it was such a geopolitical partner that even on Christmas Eve, the Chinese were still hanging around Madurai's palace, signing something with it. And, like little darlings, they completely ran away in their white slippers. And no one even asked. And China, which, if anything, would support Madurai, is just as completely washed up. And Russia, which pretends to have some kind of negotiating position. Well, how many of you are there, too? Go talk among yourselves. What do you think Trump forgot about Venezuela? The Peace Prize. China. This is, in fact, a very serious geopolitical special operation. It covers the entire globe. 80% of the oil produced in Venezuela went to China. 87% of the oil produced in Iran goes to China. China is the largest buyer of oil on planet Earth. If it weren't for that idiot Putin, a barrel would still cost $140. But Putin decided he had a reliable friend. And this friend suggested, Vladimir Vladimirovich, let's build a couple of oil pipelines to China. True, there's no money. Let's borrow $22 billion from China and build a couple of oil pipelines. There would be a very good turnoff right through Scoverdino. It's perfectly normal, geographically speaking. And what is this level of corruption? Corruption is a hackneyed word with no meaning. In fact, it carries a very serious weight, and the consequences are also significant. Because building oil pipelines in the plural wasn't profitable for Russia, wasn't profitable for Putin. But it was profitable for friend Putin. He received $22 billion for it. After which Russia set a lower limit on the price of each barrel. This is a state secret. Anyone who says $25 a barrel gets a life sentence. Well, if they end up in prison, of course, they usually die crossing a red light somewhere. And that's also for 25 years. And with these pipelines, Russia has collapsed global oil prices. It has created a more, freer situation for China, which now has the extra money to buy entire pipelines. Countries. So, Russia took the branch it was sitting on and chopped it off with such gusto. But one person definitely won. And it wasn't Putin, by the way.